Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. I am your host, Josh Bilquist, with my good friend and my good pal, Mr. Al Connickson, talking about the do's and the don'ts of the financial markets, stocks, options, futures, and Forex, which is what we're going to cover here in the next couple segments here, is these different opportunities for income strategies and wealth strategies. If you did miss seats for that investing class that we do locally right at our academy here in Bloomington, otherwise we are also in a neighborhood near you. We are going all across the metro, helping our financial family make smarter investing decisions. We have free investing classes all across the metro. Simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. Text investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats. We also appreciate it and love our subscribers on the podcast. If you missed part of the show, simply go to Investing and Trading Live, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. So, on this next segment, Al, I do want to continue the discussion about odds, probabilities, having a strategy, placing the right decisions based on whether you want to be a willing buyer or willing seller, but waiting for your price, kind of like the home example I was giving earlier. Giving an offer on something, a stock or a futures contract or a currency pair, that you want to be a willing buyer or seller. Now, we have a lot of listeners that want to have extra income strategies, because that's what it's all about. That's how you actually create and build wealth, is having more than just one income strategy. Most people just have one JOB, which is job, which actually stands for just over broke. So if somebody wants to have another income strategy, but not have to go to another job, because nobody wants to go work more hours. Well, yeah, is trading, investing work? I mean, it depends on how you actually classify it. I mean, I think staying home and being able to do something on your computer in your spare time, I don't think that's work, but, you know, everybody has a different opinion on that. So let's just say somebody is looking for an income strategy, Al, and they got a few bucks set aside. You know, maybe they got a few thousand, tens of thousands, millions of dollars set aside. It doesn't matter what you start with in the markets, especially when you're looking for income, because there are leveraged assets. How do you help people get started if they're looking for that second strategy?
Well, it's a good point you brought up. You mentioned, in I think it was the last segment or the first segment, about hunting. You know, how you prepare for whatever you're hunting. Well, let me ask you this: if you're going out deer hunting, are you going to bring a BB gun?
I don't think I would.
So
it's probably not going to work.
It's choosing the right weapon. Okay, in the markets, that's the strategy. You have to use the right strategy for what you are intending to achieve. So number one, you need to identify what your goal is, and until you've identified that goal, and we look at where you are now and how different that goal is from where you are now, it's hard to know what the right thing is for you to do. But for a lot of people, and we're hearing this a lot in these workshops that that you've been talking about, these free classes, that people are coming in and they're saying, you know what, we've worked really hard, but we're behind. We need to catch up. The problem with that is that people then end up taking too much risk, not knowing what they're doing, and investing in the wrong thing.
And they try to get the get-rich-quick thing, which it's not a real thing in the markets.
No. If somebody says they have money, you are going to be paying them for something.
Probably, yeah.
So, but how do you catch up? How do you do that and not take on a lot of risk? Well, Josh kind of mentioned that there's leveraged assets. And what we mean by that is that it's very much like a mortgage on a house. When you buy a house, let's say you buy a $400,000 house, you do not have to have $400,000 sitting in wherever you keep your money, your bedroom, a closet, wherever you have it. You don't have to have that there. You can take out a mortgage. So you can control a $400,000 investment, the house, for maybe $30,000 or $40,000. That's leverage. In the markets, you can do the same thing. There are assets that have leverage, and by the way, all the professional traders use them, the big firms use them, Warren Buffett uses them. They just don't really teach the public or tell the public that much about them.
Just to clarify, you don't need tens of thousands of dollars to do that, though, right?
That's correct. And that allows a lot of people that have a very small portfolio or that are only willing to take a small portion of a big portfolio and invest in something that has the potential for great returns that possibly could beat what the market is doing. And with leverage, just as an example, you could have an account with $2,000 in it. Just in that account, and you could potentially control something worth as much as $100,000. And that's leverage. That's how the pros are doing. That's why they're so successful. And in addition to having the leverage, you want to make sure that you know how to have a risk strategy in place too. So you've got two great benefits there. You are controlling your risk. You're making sure if you are wrong, it's only going to be a small loss. And then again, you're going to identify a strategy and use one that shows you how to have rewards that are much bigger than your losses. So having the ability to use an asset that can have the potential for you to catch up without adding risk, that's a huge benefit. And we're seeing a lot of people come into these classes wanting to know what those assets are. And just to kind of briefly mention them, the futures market, where you have a number of different things that are part of the futures family. Trades almost 24 hours a day. The foreign exchange market, where you're looking at the difference in exchange rates between two different currencies, trades 24 hours a day, has 50-to-1 leverage. The options market, a number of different strategies within that market that have a different amount of leverage. But the point is that there are assets that you have the opportunity to use that will give you a better chance to catch up if you feel like you need to catch up. There are assets that you can use that will maybe get you to the point where the retirement that may look like it's out of reach for you now will actually be in reach. And these are assets you can use again on your phone if you want to travel. It again does not require sitting in front of a computer. It doesn't require your constant attention to be able to do this.
You kind of made me think of something. Is people want to go on vacation and they want to be sitting on the beach and making millions and millions of dollars while sitting on the beach. Well, that's not really true, right? And what I mean by that is you still got to put some effort into it. And let's just say somebody wanted that second strategy and they took maybe 15 minutes out of their morning while they're on vacation and maybe set up a couple trades and they let them work for them. That's what it does. Is you don't just make millions of dollars right away. I'm sure some people do, but it's not realistic for everybody to do that. Have a strategy while you're doing other things. But also you look at, what does Warren Buffett say? One of his quotes is you need, I'd have to look it up here. You have to make money while you sleep, otherwise you'll work until you die. Is that how it is?
Yeah, that wasn't exactly how he put it, but basically
very close.
If you don't make money when you sleep, you'll end up being broke.
Exactly, yeah. So that's what it's all about, is being able to have a strategy while you're doing other things. Very similar to somebody's job, if you think about it. If let's say you own a company. You're not going to do everything yourself because it's not efficient. You're going to hire people to have efficiencies and do things for you. So one person does this, does the marketing, and another person does the labor, another person does the accounting, so that way you can be efficient with your time, but also it gives that freedom as well. People also are looking for freedom. That's one of the big things that I've been seeing. A lot of people that are coming to these investing classes, and we're getting a lot of people coming to these classes, Al, and they say, I'm looking for that freedom to be able to do the things that I want to do. I've been working so hard all my life, and I just never had the time to be able to do anything. Well, and they're like, you know what, I listened to the show, and there are opportunities to have a second income strategy, but not have to go to another job. Well, you have, first off, the first step, and I mentioned this in the beginning segment, I believe it was, it takes a little bit of action to make changes in your life. Right. And they're like, you know what, I got to come to this investing class and at least see what it's all about. It may not even be for me. That's what they think. That's what they say and think, which is great. Because if you go in with an open mind, then you see the opportunities rather than with a bias of, I'm going to do something for sure, or I'm not going to do something. And that's the cool thing about these investing classes, is we're able to pull back the curtain on how the market actually works. We can show you how it works, what's actually available, what's the do's and the don'ts of the markets. That way you can at least yourself make your own educated decision. And that's the cool thing about it. We've been getting a lot of feedback and comments from people, just verbal comments, says, hey, I'm really glad that you're able to show me how this works. I never knew this was even possible. Right. And once you see the possibilities, then you got to take some action. But first, you got to come into one of these classes. We have these classes all across the metro. We have our state-of-the-art facility here in Bloomington, our academy, a couple different classrooms, and that's where we're training people the skills of investing and trading. But we're also doing these workshops here during the week. We also have them on the weekends and in the evenings. But also these classes are also in the metro area as well. We have classes in Edina, Wayzata, Maple Grove. Matter of fact, I'll be teaching classes here at Maple Grove this week. Woodbury, we're even going down to Rochester. A lot of people are in Rochester, St. Cloud. So we're just going to a neighborhood near you. To come into one of these classes, text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats. That's one for you and one for a friend. Text investing to the number 210 right now for 2 seats. Al, we got a lot more to discuss. We haven't even talked about retirement. Let's do that in the next segment. Let's talk about retirement strategies for people that are working or that are retired. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We'll be right back.